self-sufficient but not independent. In Acts chapter 20, verses 28 to 38, we get a glimpse of St. Paul's influence on business and community affairs. He transformed the town of Ephesus by living the gospel. Although he was a powerful preacher of the gospel, his words were backed up by the holiness of the Spirit of truth, the Spirit of the gospel that lived within him. If we are extraordinary homilists, or religious education teachers, or daily reflection writers, but we are not preaching the same message with our daily person-to-person behavior, the gift of preaching is being used scandalously. It's a terrible, far-reaching sin. It would be better to lose our voice than for souls to be wounded or lost on our account. Notice how St. Paul did it. He could have rightfully asked the church community to finance his living expenses, but he worked as a tent maker to take care of his own needs and to help his companions. Thus, he influenced the ethics of Ephesian society by showing that it's important to be self-sufficient for the sake of, as he put it, helping the weak. He took care of his own needs to the extent that he could, not to be self-sufficient in an isolated sort of way, but to be generous toward others. Ever vigilant, he noticed what was going on in the community. In fact, when they refused to accept his help, he cared about them to the point of tears. Self-sufficiency can feel like independence, and independence can easily lead to separation from community when we pridefully try to take care of all of our needs by ourselves. Living the gospel means giving and receiving, so that we have more to give. We cannot be true Christians, truly Christ-like, if we are not in community with other believers. This means more than going to Mass, although worshiping God with others is an important aspect of it. It means being in active relationships with other believers. Community means journeying together on the walk of faith. In Paul's first letter to the Thessalonians, chapter 2, verses 1 to 8, look at how he preached the good news to them. He said, "We were determined to share with you our very selves." While Paul and his evangelization team visited Thessalonica, they entered into relationships with the people. Paul lists what community is not. That is, what's contrary to Christian relationships. In true community, there's no deceit or impure motives or trickery, no ear-tickling with polite or flattering words, no greed of any kind, no glory-seeking. If you have needs that are not being met, the misery you feel is a warning flag. Either you're not availing yourself of what God wants to give you through others, or others are saying no to being used by God. As St. Paul demonstrated, by receiving what we need and sharing what we have, we transform the world.